Welcome. I'm Dee, and this is the Single Mom Unguided Life, where I try to navigate through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. This is my income breakdown number 2 of my April budget. We are going to stuff some cashless envelopes. So as always, we do bring out the monthly budget overview sheet because it tells us when the bills are due, the amounts, so we'll know what we'll be paying. Okay, so first thing first is I'm actually doing this a day ahead of time because I am able to see what I actually bring in the day before I actually get paid, and I figure I'm gonna go ahead and do this. This is at the end of the night. Actually, how I get after 12? It came real fast. I don't plan on making any transactions at this moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this while I have time because I'm gonna have a busy Friday, and I just didn't want to put this on the back burner. Plus, I need to know what needs to go where before I start spending money anyway. So we're still going to date this for, which is the date that we're doing the income breakdown, which is today's date, which is 4/9/2021. The next thing is I did receive my stipend, and I received my second paycheck of my April budget. So that gives me a total of $1,783.30. I will not be taking anything out of my savings. And we need to discuss the rollover because there was an oopsie in the mid-month check-in, and it was only because I forgot that I was to call my bank yesterday morning to kind of figure out what the deal was. But when we left off, I said that the amount that should be in unbudgeted is $144.96. After the close out of the video and checking the account, I realized, hey, you did grab lunch on the go when you were doing your side income. You got to take that into account too, boo, because that came out of this account. So I went ahead and included the transaction, which left the amount of $136.41. Okay, so we can close that and bring this back over. I went back into my unbudgeted account to, check everything out, and the amount was actually $131.11. I'm like, where's that $5.30 at? So, backstory, I sent Papa to U-Haul a couple of days ago to pick up a box so I can ship a item. When he got home with the item, I noticed that this box was entirely too big and it needed to go back. He went back the same day to return it. Later on that day, which I want to say later on that day, within an hour after receiving confirmation that they did a return from the actual store, I went to go check my account, and it showed the return already there as a credit. I said, okay, it's in the pending status, so I didn't think nothing of it. The next day when I checked, it went from pending status to posted, but the amount still was off. So I was to call them yesterday morning to try to figure out what was going on. Instead, later on that afternoon, after I did the mid-month check-in, I called, and after an hour and a half of speaking to, whoever, I'm not even gonna get them names. What we determined is that though the return is showing as a credit, it's not showing up in the balance. Okay, because of that, even though it show posted, it's still pending. So that's why there's a $5.30 discrepancy. But what I was trying to explain to them is that I believe that the $5.30 discrepancy comes from a different issue. But I couldn't get anyone to understand that because what I see on my end and what they see on their end is totally different. And that's something I'm going to complain about, because there should be a way where your customer service rep should be able to mirror what you see in order to it can, guide you through. It shouldn't take an hour and a half for me to get through to someone with hopes that what they're saying is the truth. Because until the $5.30 shows up, until everything pending, including everything pending is posted, I'm not 100% sure what he said was true. We will see. We will see. Later on today, we will see. So with that being said, I'm still going to say that the amount that I'm going to be rolling over is $136.41, because at this point, I know it should be there. And I don't foresee myself touching this money because, of course, when we do our income breakdown, we like to tell our money what to do before it tell us what to do. And we get money to stuff into our envelope system. So we should be good to go. I also noticed something else different, but we'll keep it moving, okay? So bonus. Bonus is anything that comes in from Papa or I didn't know. Well, the only thing that has come in is from Papa. And that was $100 for his portion of the insurance and $26.67 for his portion of the phone bill, which he pays for his phone. So the total that I'll be working with today, after totaling everything up, is $2,046.38. So let's go ahead and put that down there. All right, so the next thing is we need to highlight the items that actually will be charged to my credit card, which is the cable, the phone bill, and OnStar. Those are the 3 items. So let's go ahead and talk about when they are due and the amount. So the cable is due on the 14th, and it's $10.91. The phone bill is due on the 15th, and it's actually $169.85. Insurance, which is the auto, is actually due on the 19th. And no, I just lied. It's due on the 18th. It's due on the 18th, and it's $243.63. OnStar is also due on the 18th, and it is $24.99. The insurance is actually has a due date of the 21st, but there's something that's going on with this insurance. This insurance is for the renters and the valuable personal property. As you know, I did make some changes to my insurance carrier, my auto insurance carrier, in March. Therefore, there was some changes that I knew was going to happen, but I couldn't foresee the amount. So, and I'll show screenshots so we can kind of follow along together. So, when the last statement before March, it was $723.99. That was the balance for all the policies across the board. I made a payment of $134 because, again, when I was planning to cancel it was after the billing started. So I went ahead and paid the $134 because I just didn't know and didn't want to call and go through so much. As you can see, look what I went through with trying to get information about my banking. I'm not going to call the insurance side because that is even more drama, okay? So with that being said, I went ahead and paid the $134. The $134 actually came off of the $723.99, and we'll go back to that so I can kind of show it here. So left with $589.99 was the balance. The policy adjustment, that is how much was going to be added to the policy if I kept it past March 18th. It was $1,346.78. So left with $1,936.77. Because I did cancel the policy, I received a credit of $1,790.34. So it left me a balance of $146.43 for my renters and valuable personal property. So this $146.43 is actually broken down into 2 policies. Policy 1 is the renters. So I'm going to move that. The renters balance is $187.19. but they applied a credit to the renters of $62.44. So $124.75 is what is remaining on my renter's policy. So $21.68 is what's remaining on my valuable personal property. They stated that no installment is due at this time. However, you may pay toward the account balance if you desire. Now, I did do like a little run through to see how that was going to work, and it doesn't give me an option to actually pay it. So I'm not really, because I was trying to see if it was going to like break down of the $146.43, what was renters and what was valuable personal property, and it did not. So I had to do all this calculation and figure it out myself and determine what was what. So with that being said, I will have to call them to be able to make a payment, because I am going to pay a portion of this balance in order to clear out a policy. And I'm going to go ahead and pay $21.68. So the valuable personal property will be actually paid for the year. Okay, and then what I'll do is I continue to do the same thing, paying a little bit at a time to actually pay off the balance of the renter of the $124. I think I said $75. Okay, we'll see how all that goes. Definitely when we do the budget closeout, we'll know if I was able to do this, if it was a whole bunch of drama, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and move ourselves to the car note. The car note is due on the 22nd. And it is $280.14. This payment that I'm making in April is actually due in May, so I am still a month ahead, which is good. Last thing is giving. Giving is what I received in my stipend, as well as a portion of what I receive in my stipend and a portion I receive in my base paycheck. So that is going to be $174.41, I believe. So $174.41. Okay, and we should be good. Let's go ahead and we're going to total everything that's not highlighted. Okay, so that's $243.63. $21.68, $280.14, and $174.41. So that's $719.86. Now let's go ahead to the envelope system, and these are the categories that we're going to be working with. And let's first start with fund money. We're going to send $25 to fund money. Now, as far as gas, I decided, even though I said I'm supposed to stick to the plan, it is best that I put a larger buffer into gas to allow for it to, build up. So in the event that, I'm doing my side income or side gigs, that I'm not running low on my gas fund and I have to do a lot of transferring in order to ensure that, I have enough to do the gas. So if I start with a buffer, when it's time to transfer from my side income, it is kind of like just helping it build up, and it's not like catching up, if that makes any sense. So this is the only that I'm going to sway away from, and that's going to be $100 I'm going to send to gas. For groceries, it's going to be $160. Household, we're going to send $40. Personal is $80, and restaurants is $25. So let's total that up to see how much we'll be sending to the envelope system. So that's $430. Okay, next thing is the sinking funds, and we're not going to be funding as many sinking funds at this time, and there's one change, and I'll explain it. So of course, car maintenance, because we have to build that back up, because we do have the inspection in the car registration and property taxes that's due at the end of next month. So we have to get this money back up, or this account back up. Gifts, I will not be sending anything to gifts because I already done it. it for the month, so there's no need to add anything more. Health, I'm not adding anything because, again, that's my FSA, so I don't have to add. Miscellaneous. So my goal with miscellaneous is to get it to $100. And if I stay on a path of what I've been doing by sending $25, it will be $95 at the end of my April budget. I decided that I did not want to continuously fund miscellaneous unless I am using it after $100. So I want to go ahead and top that off so we can stop contributing to this fund. So I'm actually going to send $30 to there. Papa, I won't be sending anything. I sent a big chunk in the beginning. Property, always sending $15 at this time. Travel, I'm not sending anything personally at this moment. And bill carryover, I'm sending $10 because there is a difference between what I was billed and the budget amount from the last billing. So let's see how much that is that I'll be sending to my sinking funds. So that's $155. Okay, so we need to find out what we have after we pay each category. So let's start with $2046.38, and we're going to minus the $719.86, and that's going to leave us with $1,326.52. We're going to minus the envelope system of $430, so leaves $896.52. Lastly, we are going to actually minus the, let's slide that up, the sinking funds of $155. So that's going to leave us with $741.52. Okay, so we will not be sending anything extra to debt from this paycheck. Now, as far as savings, I had an initial savings goal, and I'll link that in the cards above, of making sure out of my main income that I send $171.68. I don't care what and why, we're going to do that. So that's what we're going to do at this time. And so let's go ahead and minus that to see what we have left in the buffer. So what we have left in the buffer is actually $569.84. Now, we also know that this buffer here is not what's going to be left in the unbudgeted unbuffer. That is actually broken down. So we have the 3 bills here that we are sending to our checking account, which is basically a buffer to be able to pay the bill when it's due. So I'm sending money to a particular account. Let's total all of that up, and that's $205.75. So that actually goes to that particular account. We're going to minus that from the $569.84, and that leaves us with $364.09 that should be left in the checking buffer. Now, I'm going to tell you, we still have time because I had initially set for this to actually be $500 by the end of April because I wanted that to be a rolling balance. And it would have if I wouldn't been splurging in my unbudgeted account, but I did. So there's still ways that I can fund this to get this to $500 through my side income. We just have to figure out if it's possible without compromising my current plans of paying off my debt and saving for my trip. So with that being said, this is my income breakdown number 2 of my budget. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up for our fun, I should say fun money, our cashless envelope stuffing. Okay. All right. So I am excited to announce that I did order some new envelopes that should be to me by the end of the month, and so they'll be incorporated in May, but I'm excited to just see a little change with that. So with my cashless envelope, we first start by zeroing out each category before we make a deposit. And that's how I'll do my cashless envelope setup, y'all. Simple, easy, peasy, breezy. And I just like to make sure that across the board everything is the same. Not always do I update them right when I do them. Sometimes it's off a little bit, but primarily I'm checking it once, twice a week to make sure that it's in line. So yeah, we have our income breakdown, we did our cashless envelope stuffing, and we are good to go. Now let me see. Oh, it did rain today, so this is the first, or it rained yesterday, should I say. And I didn't hear it, so I had to ask Papa when he came in, did it rain? And he said, yeah, it rained for a little bit. And what even funny, it probably didn't rain on my side of town because I didn't hear anything. But I'm gonna go with, it still rained in the city that we're in, regardless if it was on my side of town or not. So I get to color in my first raindrop. Awesome. And we still have today, because today's supposed to be raining too, so I don't know when it's gonna happen, but more than likely I'll be able to tell because I'll be out a little bit more during the day. So yeah, let me go ahead and end this because I can keep rambling, especially when it's late at night and I'm actually sleepy and I'm forcing myself to stay up. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to be part of my village. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To all my returning subscribers, thank you. Everyone hit that thumbs up, and please share this with your family or friends and your coworkers. Peace out.